my dissertation is about footballers' strategies in dealing with kind of the darker side of social media, like the abuse and whatnot. But yeah, it's a big pleasure to speak to you today. I'm a big Arsenal fan myself, so I've grown up the start of your career. Obviously, I've watched you a lot.
Yeah,
I had your shirt, I had your 45 shirt, and then you
yeah.
changed it
That's
to
a
17 that summer, and then I looked like a bit of an idiot walking around school in the 45 one.
no, it's calm. 45 is the original.
I know, I'm everyone else is jealous of me that I still want the 45.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know I've already taken up a lot of your time, so I don't want to take too long. So we'll just get into it
No,
straight away.
it's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
So just firstly, how do you kind of personally cope with comments that have been made on social media about yourself? Do you have any strategies that you normally go to deal with that?
Um, I feel like the older I've got, I don't really pay attention to. Obviously, I am on social media, but at the same time, it is managed by like my team. So like, I don't really view comments. I don't see comments that are made unless it's like my friends or people that I follow or I know. But when I was younger, like obviously it's not nice seeing negative comments, but at the same time, like I've had a journey in football where like in the real life people have always said to me like you're not good enough, you're not this, you need to work on this, like negative comments really. So it kind of like made me stronger from then. So when it got to social media, like I wasn't really phased. Like I've never really been phased. I've always had that mindset where like if I see a negative comment, I try to prove them wrong on the pitch. So I've never really had anything that really affected me.
Yeah, I mean, has the way you've approached social media changed from the start of your career until your current day to day? Have you changed up the way you approach or the way you think about it?
Um, I've actually reverted to how I started off when I went into social media. So there was a period where, like, when I was breaking through at Arsenal, like, I was just literally, before I became a first team regular, I was literally on Snapchat, on Instagram, just being carefree and doing whatever, just posting whatever I like to post. And then when I had my move to Everton, that slowed down. I wasn't really on social media because there were a lot of negative comments. I got advised not to post things because I can't be as carefree. I can't just post me enjoying myself sometimes because a lot of the fans are thinking, oh, he doesn't really care about football. But now, obviously, it's easier when you're doing well. Football. I'm doing well at Fulham, so like I'm back on the media. I'm just literally showing how I live as a normal person, just enjoying my life. So literally, I reverted to how I started my career.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever been the type of player that engages with someone on social media speaking about yourself in a negative way? Would you ever go on Twitter on X and just respond to someone like some faceless account that's having a go at you about something?
No, I've never done that. I've never had the urge to respond to a negative comment. Sometimes I laugh with my friends, like when I remember one time there was a trend of I did the dab by accident when Kante went past me, and all my friends were sending it to me. And some people like Alex ain't focused, but I just laugh at the comments because at the end of the day, like I don't see that that's not really affecting me, that's not hurting me. But yeah, no, I've never had the urge to respond to a negative comment.
Yeah. So you wouldn't say in any stage of your career that criticism that you've received online has affected your mindset going into a game or the way you think about your own performances?
No, never. It's never affected my football. If anything, it's probably motivated me to go and prove them wrong. Like if I ever hear or see anything. But the only time I'll say probably once, I won't even say it affected me, but I've never been a big fan of social media anyway. So then after the last AFCON, I thought let me just come off it. Well, it was obviously it was a bad thing to do because at the end of the day, people want to see how I live, they see how I am as a person. Of course, for branding deals, I'm not allowed to come off social media. So if I could, I like to live life in the real life. I like to
Yeah.
like everyone see me in real life, but at the same time, not everyone's able to do so. So people that are really interested in knowing who I am as a person, the best way for them to engage with me is through social media. So I actually need that platform.
Yeah, so you mentioned obviously there that you want to be someone who uses social media. So how do you look at the balance for a footballer example, maybe a younger player that wants to have a big personality on social media, but also kind of needs to deal with the criticism and have a good mindset to deal with the negative things that come along with that? How do you see the balance in having a fine line between using it and also making sure you're not getting affected by it?
Yeah, I mean it's not easy because like at the same time, you have to have like thick skin. You have to be ready for all sorts of negativity that come your way. Like it won't just be just football. Like it could be anything. Um, so yeah, especially it helped me because the older I've got, the more mature I've got. My support system. So I'll say if you have a good support system, obviously not everyone's got solid support systems, but like at the same time, like I've always had, if I've ever felt down, I could always just talk to my family. So
Yeah.
I would always advise if someone's ever going through anything, that they can talk to someone, or if there's anyone they can reach out to. Like at the end of the day, people, social media is not a real place. Like it's just literally what people. It's online. It's not really in the real life. So all I can say is literally focus on people that really care about you and don't really take in the negative comments.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you've been at multiple Premier League clubs. Obviously, you started your career at Arsenal, Everton, Fulham now, obviously. Would you say you've noticed a pattern or a certain mindset or pressure that you've had to deal with at each club and the way that you've been kind of having to deal with the fans there or social media from those fans specifically, or has it kind of been it's a general football fan thing?
Um, every fan base, like each fan base that I've been a part of, is very different. Even like for Nigeria, is very very different. Arsenal, no disrespect to Fulham and Everton, Arsenal have a big fan base, and Arsenal are really heavy on the social media. So
Yeah.
you do see a lot of social media things, especially like if I was going to my local Tesco, someone's literally known who I am. So yeah, Arsenal fans, they do love to voice their opinions on X now, or Twitter back then, or Insta. So I had to be ready for that. Then Everton, they're very passionate. And obviously, I was at a time at Everton where like we were almost fighting relegation battles and just about escaping them. So fans were very passionate, but they really Everton fans will let you know in real life. So that one there is a whole different story. You have to be ready for that. Like they'll literally turn up to their training ground and voice their opinions, which I've had multiple times. But it's their passion is very very different compared to the other two clubs that I've been a part of. Where Fulham is just really a chill club. Fulham is so chilled. Like all day demands 100%. Like if you don't give up, if you don't play well but you give 100%, like they do appreciate that. Whereas the other two is like you almost have to win. But obviously you want to win at all clubs, like with all the clubs I played at. But I think Fulham's the most chilled.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned there about the different experiences you've had at different clubs. Obviously, during your time at Everton, as you mentioned, the club were struggling a bit. So does the team's performance on the pitch make you have a, does your mindset change as in you might get a bit worried about what people are going to be saying about you and you're letting the club down, you think you're letting the fans down? Do players think that it kind of it's their responsibility with the fans, or that as a collectively everyone says we need to do better?
Yeah, no, I've always had that mindset as a collective. Like we all need to do better. Like it's not easy. It's easier said than done. Like we always say to the fans, like keep supporting us. But all we can do for like first and foremost for ourselves and the club before even the fans is always give 100% and try our best. There's been some times like our efforts have been like questionable, so we understand the fans' frustration sometimes. But yeah, in general, like if fans, like people in the media, all they demand is 100%, and we that's the least we can give them. So as long as we do that, I'm sure fans don't really mind.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of your in-game experiences, so during a game, do you think if you're the kind of player who gets a bit of abuse from the away fans, or you're getting a bit of stick from your own fans, then that makes it easier for you to deal with people on social media after the game? If you're kind of player that experiences it kind of in live form, kind of having to deal with that sort of pressure and that abuse towards you.
Um, yeah, because naturally, for example, when I was at Arsenal, I've played for Arsenal. So whenever I play Tottenham, they're booing me. If I play against Liverpool, they're booing me because I was at Everton. So like you get abused, like it's just I just see it as a game, but like it's
Do
just
you enjoy
normal.
that?
I don't really notice it. It's only like if the football play stops or if I'm on the bench and I'm warming up and that's when I hear it. But I just laugh. I literally just laugh. But that's my mindset. Like I just literally laugh and try to get on the pitch and let my feet do the talking. Where some other people, I can only speak for myself. Like it don't really affect me. It just motivates me to go on the pitch and do something. But some other players might find it harder than I do.
So are you the kind of player who at half time, do you go into the changing room and maybe have a quick look at what people are saying about you and look at what the performance is and the conception is online, or are you not allowed to do that?
I mean, I don't think you're not allowed to do that. Like you're obviously meant to be listening to what your coach is saying. I don't know if anyone's ever done that in my time, but nah, I'm not that guy. I'm literally listening to the manager, and I'm so chilled.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a player, that I'd be checking what everyone's saying straight away. But what advice would you give to a player coming through the ranks now? Obviously, there's a lot of young players that have to deal with a lot nowadays in the modern game. What advice would you give to someone that's just come through and having to deal with all this pressure and responsibility?
The advice I'd give is literally like, there's a reason why you've been selected to come through the ranks. Keep doing you. Keep on expressing. Like even Lionel Messi gets critics, so you can't please everyone. Like Ronaldo gets critics, you can't please everyone. Just do your best, give 100%, and the only person that can really criticize you is yourself. So don't really let the outside noise affect you.
Yeah, I mean, just on that, do you think that players have a certain responsibility to set an example online? Obviously, most fans look at footballers as like their kind of idols in a way. So do you think there's a responsibility of the players to set that example, or do you think it's more of a kind of everyone has the freedom to do whatever they want? If you've got a certain opinion or a certain thought about something, you should be entitled to voice that, no matter the critics or the aftermath of what you might be saying.
No, because at the end of the day, like you're not just representing like I see, I'm not just representing myself. I'm representing my family. I'm representing Fulham. I'm representing Nigeria. I'm representing people that look up to me. So like, it's always important to remember who you are before you before you say something like rash. So yeah, of course, like at the end of the day, everyone's entitled to voice their opinion, but like I feel like there's ways of putting or saying things so it comes across and the message comes across clear. So yeah, people are allowed to say whatever they want, but obviously it's just how you deliver it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in the modern game and the modern use of social media, there's a lot of faceless accounts that are able to tweet at
Yeah.
anyone without anyone knowing who they are, what they are, or what they're doing. So, what do you think needs to change in order to deal with the kind of toxic culture that is social media in football? And how do you get rid of that, in your opinion?
I mean, like
It's a tough question.
it's tough because like it's so easy just to create like a fake burner account nowadays. I mean, I've even got one just so I can see what like like people like new music is coming out. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if there needs to be like a new verification where you have to like you have to put in, oh no, your passport ID or something, so like no one can get away with literally saying anything that's absurd, that's negative. I don't know. I'll say like maybe like something like a new verification code that has your passport or something.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you've had a lot of teammates throughout your career. Have you ever had a teammate who's personally struggled with dealing with social media, or has the club had to step in and ask to kind of help them out with that?
I've never seen. Well, in the change rooms that I've been, I don't think anyone's ever said out loud that they've been affected by social media. But I remember like a time at Arsenal, like Arsenal have always had the Arsenal fan TV. So there was a period when I was at Arsenal, people used to like run jokes and say jokes about the nicknames that were getting called. But I've never seen anyone allow it to affect them. Or they've never confessed that it has. Maybe it has, and I just don't know. But like, I know people do see what's being said online.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned something like Arsenal fan TV there, because obviously they're a massive kind of they have a massive following in football. I mean, how much notice of things like that do the players take? I mean, do the players know everything that's going on online?
There were no majority because like the players that were seeing it are like high, like big profile players. So when I was young, coming through the ranks and Arsenal fan TV was literally popping. When I'm hearing like the older players talk about, I'm like, oh, you guys actually look at that. Like I thought you guys would be with your kids and you don't really care, but like they actually see it. Like everyone see. Well, if it makes a lot of noise like Arsenal fan TV, most of the players that will see it.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of in the Premier League, would you say there's players that are more prone to having to deal with abuse they get on social media at certain clubs, or maybe at kind of a certain stage of their career when they might be getting a bit older? Do you think you're more susceptible to criticism at certain points of your career, maybe depending on the club that you're at as well?
Of course, like the higher the clubs that are, let's say, the clubs that are not reaching the expectations that the clubs have set. For example, I'm going to use United for example, because United they have a crazy history, and of course they're not doing as well as they thought or they think they should be doing. So it's only natural the fans that are used to Man United's success, they're going to be like, what's going on? The players already know that, but just obviously the players will not come out and say like negative comments. They'll always go to the media and say, we're going to try and fix it. But the fans would just literally say anything they can. So like when it's a club or a player that's not reaching their potential or reaching expected heights that they're meant to achieve, then yeah, there's always going to be the case where like on the media people will pick up on it. So it's a tough one. Doesn't really matter the size of the club. It literally just depends on the expectation. Because even like Everton's not, when I was there, not in the most due respect, they weren't a Champions League squad or Champions League team. But like they should be challenging for like Europa League spots at least with the players that we had, or in the relegation battle, so like in the relegation zone. So the things online were crazy, but it just depends on the expectation.
Yeah, I mean, when your club are in a position that you're really struggling, do you think the players are more inclined to stay off social media during kind of times of crisis because they just don't want to have to be dealing with everything that's going on, or is it more about we do want to see what they're saying because we just need to improve?
I know one player in particular was looking at it because he kept on coming into training and saying he used it as fuel for like fire to like say like people are saying this about us. It's between us that it's only us that can change it. Everyone everyone has a story about us. Let's rewrite our history, sort of thing. But so some players do see it. Some players stay off it. Some players have it managed and just don't have it at all. So everyone uses it for different usage for it. So me personally, I have it, but I just literally post. I don't look at the comments unless it's like my people's.
Yeah, and just lastly, who would you say in the Premier League has kind of enjoys that online presence the most? Do you know any of your fellow teammates or colleagues that they they just love the abuse. They love kind of having to deal with that and maybe responding to that as well.
I'm gonna go Calvin Bassey and Ola Aina because they're new.
I've
They're
I've,
enjoying
I've
stuff.
seen I've seen I've seen any Snapchat stories. He likes to post.
Yeah, that's like my childhood friend. He enjoys it. He enjoys it.
Um, Thank you, Alex. That's all for today. Thank you so much for your time.